Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Between the Walls podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Jess.
And I'm Jonathan, and we are the Wallaces.
We are, and we have a special guest today. Show everybody your face, baby. If you're not watching on YouTube, we had a baby.
Cat.
A fur baby. This is Jaquez. We don't have a middle name yet.
I call him Jacques.
Calls him Jacques.
That's his French
AKA
name.
Young Jacques, or Jonathan likes to call him Jacques in French.
Jacques Cousteau.
This is Jaquez, okay? Baby Jaquez. We've had him for 4 days now.
Since Saturday.
Today is Tuesday. He's the perfect cat. I love him so much.
He's a very pleasant boy.
He's so sweet. I love him so much. He's 4 months old. He's a British short hair, and he's perfect. He is the perfect cat. He hasn't caused any problems that he has control over so far. Right, Papa?
But he's a little shy right now, so he'll sometimes run away and go hide under stuff for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to let him go. Now, I just wanted to introduce you guys to our new buddy.
We spend a lot of our time just looking at what he's going to do.
No, literally, like I love to just observe him to see what he's going to do. The other night, it was nighttime, and he had been in the room for a while because we weren't home. So we let him out. And I think this was his first time downstairs at night, and we have a few big sliding glass doors, and at nighttime you can see your reflection much more. So he goes downstairs and he starts passing the window, and he sees another cat. It's really just him, but it's his reflection. And he sees it, and his back goes up, and he just pauses, and then he starts walking backwards, and then he just runs under the couch. I'm like, it's okay, it's just you. So he's so funny. I just love to watch him explore his new life, and he meows and purrs, and he's just like, oh my god, I'm absolutely obsessed. It's the best purchase we've made so far.
Yeah, he's a very good boy.
So far, it's only been 4 days, but so far I have no complaints. He's perfect. So yeah. Oh, well, I guess we're doing
a podcast.
I'm like, oh, okay. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. I have nothing else to say. But yeah, so babe, how's it been going?
This week's been good. It's Tuesday? Well, last week into this week's been good.
Yeah. What did we do this weekend? Oh, okay.
We did a lot this weekend.
We did a lot this weekend.
We hung out with some friends on Friday. Mm-hmm. On Saturday, it was our sister-in-law's birthday. Yeah. And then Sunday was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Super Bowl didn't really go how I expected it, but
I'm happy with the way it turned out.
Hey man, I just wanted the Chiefs to get one more.
And why is that?
I want him to be better than Brady.
Who him? Oh, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but that's over. That's all over with. Brady's the GOAT.
I'm not a huge football fan. I'll watch it, but I was only voting. See, I have nothing. What is it? Going for, whatever. Rooting for. I was only rooting for the Eagles because that was my very first jersey in 6th grade. I got a Donovan McNabb jersey dress from the swap shop, and that's all I know. So I was voting for them, and I guess I'm happy they won, and everyone else is voting for them too. So it's always fun to be voting for the winning team. Voting. What is politics?
Rooting
for the winning team. But the game was a little boring because they were winning way too much.
It was too much.
Yeah, we love a closer game. Or maybe if the other team started coming back a little bit, it would have been exciting, but it was a little bland. But the halftime show, what did you think of the halftime show?
Well, I'm a big Kendrick Lamar fan, so that's kind of right up my alley. But Kendrick Lamar is mean.
He's mean?
Yeah, he's mean. He's being really mean to Drake.
Okay, well, this may not be the Christian way to say it, but really mean to Drake. Hey, if you don't want none, don't start none. You can't handle it. Don't start it.
It's so mean. No, I'm not even saying mean in a bad way, but it's
Remember that I felt that way the whole summer? I was like, this is mean. It's not nice.
Yeah, and it continued being not nice.
It got worse and worse.
It got worse. The A minor flag is just crazy.
I still didn't see that, but
it's literally a flag because you saw the A chain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then the flag, it was that same A from the chain, but two little silhouettes of kids reaching up for the A.
I mean, it was a bit, maybe not a bit much. I mean, I do kind of feel bad for Drake because at the end of the day, he is a person. And I mean, I feel like all is supposed to be fair in love and rap, I guess. It's rap beef. It's not real. Mm-hmm. We're not fighting with our hands. Just doing a little 1-2 in a song. You started it. You thought you were big and bad. And I had to show you to stop playing with me.
Sometimes you have to pop out and show him.
Sometimes you got to pop out. And he very much popped out and he showed. everybody. And I loved a lot of the messages that he had in there as well. It was very blickety black. Happy Black History Month, if we haven't said that already. I loved everything about it. I love that he won Grammys. I loved everything. I just love blackness. I love being black. It's so beautiful. So that was fun. And do you have a peak of the week?
I'll say my peak of the week was Friday night hanging out with
our friends. That was, they'd be watching this too. So shout out to Julie and Miguel.
Yeah, shout out to them.
You know what? I'm proud of myself. I want to say something, you guys. So I'm on this journey, or whatever you want to call it, of like not drinking for we're going to try 3 months. And I have to say this, a little caveat. Like, I'm not a heavy drinker.
She is not.
But I am a social drinker. Like, I will drink on the weekends. If we go out to dinner, I'll have a glass of wine or whatever. I'll drink here and there. But for some reason, and I don't know what the reason is, I just felt called, and I've been saying it for a while. I kept telling Jonathan, like, I want to try to like stop drinking for like a little while. Also because I feel like my body, not that I get hangovers, but I feel like it just immediately starts showing in my face. I feel like it may be a reason why like I'm holding on to a lot of weight and stuff. And I think I'm more excited to deny my flesh because like I said, I feel like I have to reiterate this. Like, I'm not addicted to drinking or whatever, but I think it's nice to know that it's there, especially if we're like at a party or say we were at a wedding and it's an open bar and I'm just like, no, it's okay. I'm fine. And I think this will also help me with my eating to know that like, you don't have to eat food just because it's there, you know? So I think it's more of a discipline thing. And I feel like I just want to take control because my body has so much control over me. And like my flesh, like if I see a cake, I'm not hungry, I'm going to eat it anyways just because I can. And I can drink just because I can. There's alcohol in the house. There's, whatever. But I'm like, let's just say no, even when everyone else is doing it. And I don't think it's wrong. We can get into that another day. I think we've talked about that before. Or was it cursing? I don't know. But yeah, I don't think it's wrong at all if you do it the right way. But just because there's a verse, like just because
not everything is a benefit. Everything is like allowable, but not everything's beneficial.
I guess, yeah, something like
hard paraphrase.
So yeah, something like that. But yeah, just because it's not wrong doesn't mean I have to do it. So this whole weekend, it was a weekend full of events. Like Friday night, we had a social, hung out with our friends. There was wine there, but I was like, no, thank you. I brought my little fake wine with me. Shout out to Toast. Saturday, we went and had dinner for my sister-in-law's birthday. I survived that one. And then the Super Bowl, survived another event. So, like, it made me feel like, okay, girl, you got this. The more I say no, the easier it becomes, especially when people around you realize, okay, Jess is not drinking. And they're not like, here you go, like, blah, blah, blah. So I have one big event that I'm nervous about. We have a family trip coming up. And, our family, like, when you celebrate, we take a little drinksy. But that's going to be hard, especially since Jonathan won't be there. And everyone else is there, will be drinking. And it's going to be harder, but I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's, I guess that's my peak of the week, my new challenge. Is that a challenge?
Yeah, you're challenging yourself.
Yeah, so that's it. All right, babe.
Okay.
What are we talking about today?
So, last episode, we talked a lot about singleness and getting prepared to date. But we originally planned on talking about singleness and dating in one episode. But I think it was cool that we got to focus that entire time really on what it means to really enjoy the gift of singleness and to really treasure that time of your life and realizing that even though you might be ready for the next season, until you get content in the season that you're in, you're always going to be looking for something that's not there. Right. So we talked about singleness last time. So I guess from this point, we're just going to jump off. We're assuming you've done your singleness journey. You're ready to date. Like you feel confident in that. So what are the things that we should be looking for in a partner to date? This one's
for the lovers.
Yeah. So
happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah. So different than necessarily you've been dating for a while. You want to get married. We've done that one before, but now it's kind of navigating the dating world because there's actually nothing in Scripture really that tells us how to date.
Right. It's just don't have sex before you're married.
Well, yeah, and that just talks about sexual immorality, but that's not even about dating, really.
Right. So, school me. What you got for
School me? This is a conversation.
I don't know about dating. I ain't dated in 5 years. I don't remember how it goes.
How long has it been since I dated?
I don't know.
The same amount of time.
Just kidding.
All right, so I guess let's go back to your history with dating. How old were you when you had your first boyfriend?
6th grade. His name was Jerome. Jerome Bennett.
Jerome Bennett.
Yeah.
Do you know how he's doing now?
Not a clue. I remember he left me so heartbroken because he had to leave in the middle of the school year. He moved to Atlanta. And oh my gosh, we made.
Dang, so when you wanted to move to Atlanta, you were looking for Jerome?
I was. Definitely not. But yeah, he moved. Everyone knew it was Jess and Jerome. Like it was us. We was like locked in. All of our teachers knew. Everybody knew.
Hey, and teachers knew too?
Yeah, our teachers they knew what time it was. So it was Jess and Jerome, 6th grade. And then I remember in the middle of the school year, he tells me the night before, like, tomorrow's my last day of school. Like, here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, we're moving to Atlanta. I'm like, or he said Georgia or whatever it was. I'm like, no way, bro. So I remember that day. It was just so sad. Everyone's like, Jess, are you okay? And, like, he was acting so weird, like, all hard. Because he was kind of, like, ghetto. You know, I was into the ghetto stuff back then. Not ghetto, but, like, whatever. And acting all, like, nonchalant. And I'm just like, it's so sad. So I remember my teacher, her name was Miss Bennett, actually, no relation. She asked me if I could bring this note to, I don't know, another teacher or an envelope or something. And I was like, haha, yeah, because we weren't in the same class. We were just in the same grade. This is so unnecessary with this story.
I love it.
Anyway, so I knew what class Jerome was in, but I knew that's not where the note was supposed to go. So I remember, so I can get his attention, I remember walking in the class with, like, sad. And then I look at the note, I'm like, oh, wrong class. And then I walked out, but I just wanted him to see me. I walked in.
You're a joke.
I'm like, oh, wrong one. And I left. I'm like, did you see me? Like, I don't know. Anyways, 6th grade was my first boyfriend. We didn't kiss. We didn't do nothing. It was just, we saw each other at school and never outside of school.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
That was the way it went. Yeah. What about, when was your first girlfriend?
First girlfriend was in, I think, the 5th grade.
Oh, you started a little earlier than me. Actually, I did have a boyfriend in 4th grade. Shout out to Tyler. Tyler Brown. He just got he's having a baby.
Oh, shout out to Tyler
Tyler
Brown.
Brown and his wife having a baby. I saw it on Facebook yesterday. It's so funny. I was on Facebook and I was like, why are me and Tyler friends on Facebook? Like, I literally have not seen him since 4th grade.
Oh.
Like, why? Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Shout out to Tyler Brown. My first girlfriend was Amber Pagan. I think she got married recently. I don't remember what she changed her name to, what her married name is. Whatever. But yeah, we're cool. We're cool now. I see her all the time. Like, because I went through a K through 8.
Oh,
so we knew each other the entire time. But like, she was my girlfriend for like a week.
Oh, what happened?
Nah, she broke it off, bro.
Oh no! What did you do?
Nothing happened. But back in that time, like 5th grade, like you get a girlfriend, you're like still scared to talk to them.
Yeah.
Like
you
feel like all the friends like boost you up to go talk to them, and it's like I don't even remember. I don't even really remember, but I just remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
That actually reminds me. Sorry, I had my boyfriend in 5th grade. His name was Alan. And we were making it through the summer, actually. It was going well.
You said a 6th grade.
I know, I lied. I forgot. I actually had a boyfriend, and my first boyfriend was 4th grade, Tyler.
And then
5th grade was Alan. I forgot. 6th grade was the one that I really remember because it hurt the most. But no, Alan, I remember we went to a party in the summer, and I forgot to put deodorant on, and he broke up with me because I stunk. But I remember going to the bathroom and putting, like, soap and water on a napkin and, like, trying to wipe my armpits because I would always forget to wear deodorant back in the day. And I knew I smelled bad, too. And he broke with me because my armpits stink.
Oh, man.
No.
Man.
Yeah, that one hurt.
That's a bad beat.
Yeah. No, my track record was not great, but yeah.
Bad beat.
Not great. I had a lot of dick. I could tell you every guy I dated in, like, every year of school. We won't go through it, but every year I had a new boyfriend. I was a hot girl, okay?
That's a bad beat.
Yeah, not great. But I didn't know much about dating.
Okay, all right, okay. I don't know why we're going through this, but how old are you with your first long term?
My first long term was, I think, my junior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I started, like, a real boyfriend, junior year. And this is, at this point, we stopped saying names. Cause, like,
yeah.
Like,
not
okay, who cares
anymore.
about 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade? But then it starts getting more real later on.
7th, 8th grade for me.
Yeah. Was your first long term?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. That's
long term, like a few months.
Oh. No, mine was like a year and a half. And then we both cheated on each other, so.
So good.
So amazing. I'm just telling you, track record is horrible, but yeah,
So good.
amazing.
Okay. Anyways,
Just really getting to know each other here.
well, okay.
Yeah.
So when you were younger and and less experienced, what were the things that you looked for in a partner?
I was going straight off of looks. Up until maybe I was like 24, 25, which is how I ended up with you. Like, looks didn't matter anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I love you so much. Y'all know my man is fine. Don't even try to clock it. All right, so yeah, I was just going straight off of looks and like, are you cool? You know, we good? I don't know. I just like that was it. I didn't really care where do you work or what car do you drive or like going to church. You love the Lord. It was a kind of in the back of my head, but like I said in the last episode, I was always like, I'm not gonna marry you, so I don't care. I'm just here to.
Yeah.
We're just hanging out. Like it's cool.
Yeah. I think for me, it's kind of like a two-tiered answer, which is going to sound like a little bad. I feel like for guys, it's a little different. There are people that like you're really interested in. It's like, oh, I could see this as a future wife. And there are people that like, I could see this as, oh, let's just, talk for a little bit. Like, I'm not looking for anything serious.
Yeah, I was like with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a message for somebody. If somebody tells you they're not looking for anything serious, it might just mean with you.
Yeah.
Like that with you is silent.
Yeah, the with you is so silent. Okay, wait, that brings me back to something. Remember what I was talking about in the last episode, the guy who didn't even want me to take a picture with him?
Yeah.
And he told me from the jump, I'm not looking for anything serious,
Yes.
right? So I remember we had like broken up or whatever, just because we realized, okay, we got to get better. Like, this is not going to work. Like, let's wrap this up. And then I remember this girl that we both met at the same time. But it was just some random girl who came in. I think she started going to church, some girl we both met at the same exact time. Right after we broke up, they started dating for 4 months and they got engaged. Right after 4 months earlier, he told me he's not looking for anything serious. The with you is very much silent because literally a couple months later, he's engaged to somebody new.
Yeah, so they might. Okay, so to be fair to all the people who have said that, they might just not know.
Or just got out of a relationship.
Or just got what there might be other circumstances, but don't be surprised if that same person that told you they're not looking for something serious finds herself in something serious as soon as they're done with you.
It just wasn't for you, and that's okay.
Yeah, but I think I did have in my head categories for women that I talked to, and that most of the women that I did talk to, like over the course of my life, there were like two categories. The categories of people who I could actually see potential marrying, and people were like, I'm not really thinking about this going super far because you don't love Jesus. And I think always in the background of my head, that was like a house of how seriously I'm taking this or not. I would entertain and talk to women who were not Christians, but in my brain, it was always, this isn't ever going anywhere.
Right.
Kind of like similar to what you were saying, like when you were talking to the Muslim dude. It's like,
this isn't.
This
ends way before we were.
We're not even. We don't even end up. You don't even take it seriously.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of thing. Or people, and I think this was the case for a good portion. People who they might have been Christians, but they didn't. I could tell they just didn't really care about Jesus.
They weren't walking.
They weren't walking.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't walking for real. Those people were like immediately eliminated from my list too. But like not on a level where I'm thinking like, nah, they can't be it. It's just my brain just knew.
Okay, so do you think it's important when you're gonna start dating to have a list?
I used to think so, but now I'm not so sure anymore.
Because I know like recently the thing has been rip up your list. Like like the list is blah blah blah. Like the list is not important.
I think some non-negotiables are important, but like all the other things on that list are less important.
But then at the same time, do you think you should be praying to God for specifics? Like, they say, write it down, make it plain, be specific with your prayers. It's like, okay, God, I want someone who has both parents in their life and someone with no kids and like ding, blah, da, da, da. Do you think it's important to be super specific to God with your list or at least the things that you want in your head?
I mean, I feel like you can. Yeah, I mean, you can always ask him for what you want, but I think a list of too many things that are necessities for this person to have for you to even look at them can be too much.
Yeah, I think it could potentially block someone who is really great.
Yeah, block someone who's really great for you that you wouldn't have necessarily expected.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if I drew my if I then
Uh-huh.
then
Okay. Yes, sir.
if I drew my list up, I don't know how much like item for item for item for item all the way down you would have been like the list. But I think you're better than the list.
That's good.
If that makes sense.
Amen.
If that makes sense, in that God knew I needed things that I didn't necessarily ask for. So it's like I thought I needed a certain thing, and I was like, okay, I need this, I need that, I need that. But you're actually exactly what I needed, and God knew that.
It's very sweet. Oh, I missed.
Yeah, so I think we can think our lists are. The cat's on the floor just like looking up at me.
Cute.
I think we can think that our lists are like perfect. Like, okay, need to have this, need to have that, need to have this, need to have that. And you can have all your reasons for that, but I think that our list, I feel like God knows better than what we have on our list. So I think
absolutely.
I think so sometimes limiting what's on the list can be good.
Yeah, I think it's really important to be open. I think, I think, like you said, there can be the non-negotiables. I don't even think we have to say at this point, like, has to be a believer. But I think, like...
I mean, we probably should.
Oh.
We could start with...
Okay, well, start with has to be a believer. Has to be a believer. I guess I should say that because that is a non-negotiable. He could have everything else on the list, but if he's not a believer, it's a no. And I don't want it to be he has everything else on the list, and I know if I just take him to church, I can get him there, and then he'll be perfect. And he may get to church and get saved later, but I don't think that anyone needs to be leading someone there while in a relationship.
Yeah.
It could be during friendship or whatever, but yeah, just save yourself.
I think the biggest thing in general is finding somebody who faith is a large part of it, but I guess that has a similar worldview as you do, which is which includes faith, but it also includes other things. Like, so someone that values those same things that you do, that has, for example, like has family, like whether you have family values that like, you're like, I want, for example, to be, I'm trying to put words to it, but do you kind of get what I'm saying before I put any words to it? And maybe you can help me out.
I think so, because like I know that I wanted someone who is like close to their family. Like your family and the way you are with your brother kind of reminds me of my family and how I was with my brothers. Like the closeness, like you guys watch football together, you guys watch movies together, you guys hang out. And I knew I didn't necessarily want someone who wasn't close to their family and was like very isolated from their family. Like your family Christmases and Thanksgivings are all great, and I wanted to also continue to be a part of that because I didn't want to leave my great family and close upbringing and tight-knit family for someone who was going to take me to nothing. And of course, I would assume if you weren't close with your family, you would just come to all of my stuff, which would be great, but I wanted to have that balance.
Yeah.
So I thought that was important. And it wasn't necessarily a deal breaker, but it was important to me that I didn't have to be with someone who they like not into family and family gatherings and all that stuff because I don't have time. There's other things to worry about in a relationship. I didn't want to have to train a man to love family, but it was not a huge deal breaker if you weren't.
Yeah, that 100%. And I think with the believer thing, I think a lot of people get caught up. It's like, oh, it's just like another rule that you're supposed to follow and whatnot. But if you think about it as something that's bigger than that, in terms of the most important thing to me is my relationship with God and how that plays out with how I love other people, how I think about family, how I try to be with my friends, right? So if that's, as a disciple of Jesus, if that's the most important thing about me, then a lot of the ways that I am and I try to move, you're just not going to understand. If you don't have those same beliefs, not in a way that like, oh, I think you're less than me, or I think you're not deserving of me, or I need to follow this rule, but in just the very simple, I view everything through this lens. So if you're not looking through this lens as well, you're going to be a little confused and we're going to have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
One thing I say sometimes that people, well, my dad, when I said it on the podcast, he was like, I don't know about that. That when you're dating, it's actually a time where you can, I said, be selfish. I think that wording might be a little too strong for what I'm trying to convey.
Okay.
But basically, when we talked about this, like when you're married, you're locked in. There's not really any leaving, any moving, unless this is an extreme circumstance. But when you're dating, if if someone starts to change in a way that you don't like, or someone starts to, I know we're supposed to be at the beginning of dating in this conversation, but whatever. But if someone starts to change in a way that you don't like, or in a way that you don't gel with, you can leave.
Right.
Like, that is, in my opinion, like that is okay to walk away. That's okay to walk away from.
Yes, but also at the same time, I feel like someone will always leave because there's always going to be something that we don't like. So I guess you have to figure out if it's something that you can live with. Because there's like things that I quote unquote like don't love about you, but it's something I can live with. It's not like it's something petty. But if you can't walk away at every little thing that you don't like dang, I don't like the way he dresses, like I'm leaving. That can change, you know?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if it's something that you think it's something about that person that's not going to change and you can't live with it, or you think they may not change for another 3-4 years, then that would be the conversation.
Yeah, that's good. I think, okay, so number one, I think that we nailed down is same life outlook, which encompasses faith, how they view things in general.
Yeah, sometimes even down to like who you guys have voted for in the past or things like that.
If that's something that's really important to you.
Yeah, because I know this past election could have been a really tough one for some households.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is the one that I've been conscious enough for that I feel like was either really left or really right. Sometimes they're kind of both just like, whatever. But I feel like these ones were like East and West.
Yeah.
So that one could have been a little tough, but I think that's also something to
consider.
Okay. So I don't know if these are these supposed to be in order or it's just
no. Well, I think the first one is like
the first one is number one
with a bullet,
point blank, period. And I hate to do this for number 2, but I do think you need to be attracted to your partner.
Okay, go talk about it.
So on our pilot season on the Only One Jess channel, we kind of talked a little bit about looks or attraction, physical attraction, and is it important? And I think a lot of people missed the point here because they were like, that's not as important as their spiritual life, blah, blah. Like, obviously, I think we'll say it more clear here. That is number 1. Our relationship with Jesus, are we on the same page with that? But that's great. But I have met many Christian men, but I was not attracted to them. But I'm not going to marry someone or date someone just because they're a believer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm unfortunately, I just don't know if that's enough. It's enough for us to be friends. That's great. We can be friends. I don't know if it's enough for us to be married. And I totally understand looks can change in a heartbeat. Like, I can get in a car accident tomorrow, God forbid, and my face gets ripped off, and I look like Harvey Dent. Like, I have half a face.
Yeah.
And then it is what it is. But that may also not happen. But I do think, you going to say something?
No, I'm going to ask you a question, but continue.
Okay.
Continue.
I do think it is okay. It's not a crime to be attracted to your partner. People try to act like that shouldn't be on your list. It's not important. It is, guys, it's not a crime. If you want to date someone who you think is ugly, go for it. I necessarily didn't want to. But there have been times that I've dated someone who was not like, oh, he is so fine to me or he is like best body or whatever, but their personality, I was attracted to that, which made them look better in my eyes. So it didn't matter if anyone else said, like, oh, I don't really get it. I was like, I can see it. For some reason, the veil has been, like, I can see it for me because I loved their personality. So that's a form of attraction. So I'm just going to say attraction as a whole.
It is a form of
attraction. I won't
attraction.
necessarily say physically attracted, but you're attracted to them, whether it's their mind, their drive, whatever, that you're attracted to them in some way.
Okay, so what I'll ask you, is attraction necessary for you to take a date with the person?
Some type of attraction is necessary. Do you think
I think that's where I diverge from you.
Okay, tell me about it.
I think that attraction is necessary the further you get into a relationship. And it doesn't necessarily need to be or start with physical attraction, but, whether you're attracted to their personality, which makes you attracted to them as a whole, I think that is important. Like, the deeper and deeper you get into a relationship, especially as you start entertaining the idea of marriage. Now, I think there are many times that when you first start off with the idea of thinking of someone, you're like, nah, can't see it.
Yeah.
But then you hang out a little bit, you go on a few dates, and then you might start to open up to the possibility of like, you know what? I am
Maybe.
starting to get some attraction towards them.
Okay. Well, see, wait, were you done?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, see, in my case, it would be a little different because for me, I was normally friends with people before I dated them for the most part. So like that attraction of like, obviously I would have friend zoned someone in the beginning because maybe I wasn't attracted to you in any, or whoever in any type of way. But the longer we're friends and I'm seeing more of their personality and their this and that, then I'm kind of like, wait a minute. I just realized how much I always laugh with Jacquez. I think I would give him a chance or whoever, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, but if it's someone who if you're on a dating app and all you can see is their bio and their picture, and in the bio it says believer of Jesus and you see their picture, if it's a picture I don't like, you're getting a swipe.
Yeah.
So
A picture I don't like, you're getting a swipe.
yeah, bars.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things that it's definitely context dependent.
Yeah.
But I think far too many people, especially in church circles, are so afraid to date, period. Because unless everything lines up like with their boxes in advance before they even take the first date. So I think this was partially my problem too. Whereas unless I was like, okay, I'm sure this person could be my wife. It's like, I don't even want to, I'm like afraid of dating in the light.
You may have missed that on your real wife because you was too afraid to date her because
No. I have the right one.
Oh, that was a trick, guy.
I have you just woke Jaquez up.
I'm sorry.
I have the right one. But I think we can put so much pressure on it where it's like, no, I can't. Like, cause they're a good friend. And if we go on this date, it can ruin everything.
Yeah,
And
but I mean, I get that too.
I think the only thing that ruins things is when they get physical and sexual. Because if you go on dates and are dating in the light, right, where there are people that know that you went on this date, now you have accountability.
Yeah,
I think you get yourself into trouble when you start talking to someone like on the super low. Nobody knows, so since nobody knows, nobody can see you out.
Yeah,
They can't see you out. Then you start doing secret type things, and once that happens, I think you put yourself on the road to being cooked.
yeah,
Which is what happened to me a lot.
yeah. I've been there.
Like just not wanting anyone to know about the situation, but like had you dated in the light with, select few people that you can trust, knowing that you're going on this date, it's way easier to, go on a few dates and be like, this might not be for me. And, someone's feelings might be hurt for a little bit, but for the most part, you can go back to a status quo.
Yes, but I think what some people's hesitation is, especially if you're dating in the church, is that now it's like, oh, dang, she didn't dated. I'm trying to make sure I don't say any names. I mean, we have so many people at our church. I might say someone who goes there, but this is hypothetical. Like, dang, she dated Jeffrey, and she dated Darnell, and she went on a date with, I'm about to say Keyshawn.
Coolio.
Like, I'm thinking of so many names.
With Coolio.
Yeah, and I think that is where it becomes like, I need to be selective because I don't want to be the girl who is doing trial dates with all the guys in the church.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the guy either because news travels fast. So
yeah, I guess what it could be, though, is you do group things until you see that, like, oh, okay, maybe let's do a one-on-one. You know what I mean? I just think we're way too quick to shut things down before really investigating it.
that's fair.
But I do agree in general that attractiveness, like at the further and further you go out from dating. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Wait,
go
so-
into dating is important.
So you were saying to date someone that you're not necessarily attracted to, and if the attraction doesn't build, then you cut it off.
Yeah, then you can cut it off.
That's crazy. It's like, dang, why didn't it work? He's ugly.
No, but I'm not
Like
saying
what?
I'm not saying date boyfriend girlfriend. I'm saying you can start to go on
the
some
talking
dates.
stage.
No. I think that going on dates is different than the talking stage in terms of that. Like the talking stage, I feel like we do it super weirdly, where it's not like we're going on dates and we're keeping it like above the level. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I guess different strokes for different folks, but I feel like it might be worse to date someone like, okay, I'm just gonna give him a chance. I'm not really that attracted, And then after like 3 dates and they're starting to like you more, that you just like, I just can't get there. Like, let's just cut it off. But I also get it. Like, then maybe it does work out and it works out well. But I feel like, I don't know. I mean, the thing with dating, guys, it is definitely taking a chance.
Yeah.
So if you're afraid to take a chance and like you're like, oh, whoever I date, it has to work out, it has to be perfect. You're gonna be stuck for a long time. You're gonna be single for a long time because everyone who looks like, oh, maybe, or you find out someone likes you and it's like, no, I can't do it because X, Y, Z. It's like you have to take the chance.
Yeah.
It's really a game of chance.
Yeah,
here.
and then if you were like me, it's like, okay, I don't know if this is the right person. We can talk or whatnot, but like I don't want anyone to know. Like I don't want anyone to know that we're talking. So I had so many situations like that where, good people ended up. I mean, I was hurting myself as well, but good people ended up getting hurt because I was just so afraid of making a wrong choice.
Yeah.
That like, oh, if I pick them, and it's kind of feeling like anyone I dated like that became my girlfriend had to be someone that like I was gonna marry.
Yeah, I mean that's the hope, and you date with that hope. But
I think one thing my cousin had told me one time, he's like, yo, I told my girlfriend, the next girl I date, I'm gonna marry.
That's
right?
too much pressure, bro.
I know, but that's what I had in my head. I think it was part of it. Where it's like the girl that I call my girlfriend is the girl that's gonna be my wife. So it made me call like even if things were progressing, like up until that point when we were in that when we were in the situationship, we never like, got to a boyfriend girlfriend level because I was just so afraid.
Yeah, and that's okay. But I do want to talk.
But that's not okay. It was bad.
I mean, no, it is bad. I'm saying
it's okay now.
Yeah, I don't even know why I said that's okay.
I'm like, it wasn't okay.
I just love you and it worked out well, but it wasn't okay. But I do want to talk to anyone who has the mindset or sees dating through the lens of the next person I date. That's the last one that's gonna be my husband or my wife. I think that is dangerous too, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing because everyone wants to be intentional and stuff like that. But I feel like it can put so much pressure on you that one, you don't date anybody because you can't find the right one, or two, that you end up staying with someone for so long because you put that expectation. It's like, it has to work. It has to work. But it's clearly not working. But you're like, I just don't want to start over. Like, this one has to work. This one's going to be my wife. And then you stay because you said so.
Yeah.
So I feel like it can be a little dangerous. I think it's great to have that hope and like that's your intention because you're dating. You're dating to marry if you're serious about it. But I don't want you to get trapped in that bubble of, nope, that's the one. That person's going to be my wife. Yeah. Or not even that person. Then my next girlfriend. You don't even know who it is. My next girlfriend, no matter what, be my wife. That can be dangerous.
Yeah, and I think there really has to be stages to it, Not every date means that you're going to, like, going on the date doesn't mean that you're going to marry that person. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that, like, oh my gosh, we're exclusive now that we're going to get married.
Yeah, that's what conversations are for.
Yeah, that's where you just start. You start to get to know each other to see if something's even viable, and then you can figure out a lot of that stuff through conversations, through group stuff too. Like you're like, oh, me and this group is going out. If you want to come, hang out with the group. That way, while you're at the group, you can see how they interact with other people.
Yeah,
you can kind of get to know their personality before, you bring it to that next stage, which is one-on-one kind of things.
Do people still talk on the phone?
People do. I'm not people.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder. I don't really know.
People FaceTime though. People FaceTime though.
FaceTime is more of a thing. Yeah,
but FaceTime, and don't be FaceTiming no one late.
Bro, we used to spend hours, and it was innocent at the time. We would just be on FaceTime until like wee hours of the morning. And I remember my parents made a joke like the next day. He's like, y'all having phone sex on the phone? I'm like, they were like obviously joking, but I was like, okay, that's OD.
Someone said this thing. I think I sent it to you. They were saying, don't be praying with like any boy or girl that you are interested in or you just started dating.
Don't be praying with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Basically, they were saying that praying and fasting with someone, I forget who said this. It was like a pastor. But praying and fasting with someone is something so intimate that someone could be not for you, but because you've started to pray with them and fast with them, you start to develop a tie that's hard to break apart from. Which I'm like, I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that might make sense.
I can see that. It's a different type of tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like you're it's a spiritual, it's like a spiritual tie. That might not necessarily need to be formed.
Yeah. So I mean, you can pray for your food on the date real quick.
But it's like really like locking in terms of prayer together. That can start to attach you too much to somebody.
I can see that.
Okay, next thing I think for someone someone that you're looking to date or like start looking for them to become your boyfriend, girlfriend kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you said we talked about attractiveness, attraction, and we talked about
we're at both believers. We're on the same spiritual.
and you see some level of attraction.
Yes.
Whether it be physical, emotional,
Yeah. So
relational,
that was 1 and 2.
whatever.
Give me number 3.
I think number 3 is that you want the same things out of life.
Okay.
Whereas, say that you go on a date with this person, right? You're talking, the vibes are good, everything's great, and you're like, yeah, I want to have like, eventually have like 2 kids and whatever, and like, I actually don't want kids. Or like, I can't wait to settle down in South Florida and be close to family, and it's like, actually, I want to move to Tennessee, and I want to be in Tennessee, and that's the only place where I want to be. You're like, ha ha ha, and we move on in conversation.
Right, and we just keep pushing.
I think that is the single biggest thing that that can nuke you down the line.
I agree. Yeah.
Because later on, when you're way deeper in, then you're gonna be like, okay, so like for real though, like you don't want kids?
Yeah, it's like, okay, so what would you want to name your kids? It's like, or our kids, like, okay, we're like dating for 9 months now. It's like, okay, so I saw this movie the other day. She named her kid Zimbabwe. What would you want to name our kid? Like, oh no, I told you.
I don't want.
And this is after y'all exchange I love yous. You've been on some family vacations together.
You prayed and
prayed and fasted together. Oh Lord. Yeah, I don't want kids. I told you that. Remember on our first date?
Yeah, I think that's heartache. That's real bad heartache down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So, wanting the same things out of life and like timelines wise, relative timelines wise, has to sync up. Or because say someone wants, like, I want kids. And you say you get married. You're like, you're not married. You're dating. It's like you're 20. One person's 22. One person's 27. And it's like, I actually don't want kids. 22-year-old. I don't want kids until I'm 35. Like in my mid 30s. Another person might be like, that's great for you, but that doesn't work. That doesn't work for me.
Right.
So I'm not saying every date you need to hit the other person over the head with, okay, so what do you want of this? What do you want of that? But it's as you start to get to know each other in like those initial stages, asking relatively intentional questions.
How soon do you think is too soon? Do you think any of those questions need to be asked on the first date?
I feel like those kinds of things can start to get asked within like the first few dates, like first 2-3 dates.
Okay, so say you and I are dating and we're new, like we haven't been friends for 10 years or whatever. We met at church, we served on the setup and pack down team, and after like 3 weeks you asked me out for coffee or date, whatever, dinner. And I start asking you like, hey, what do you think about kids in the future on our first date? Would that scare you? Would that be like, dang, this is a little too much for me?
Well, I feel like it all depends on how you ask this question. If you ask it in a way where it seems like you're asking about them with you, then it can feel like too much.
Oh, okay, so you make sure you ask it light.
It's like asking lightly and in general. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like just as the conversation plays out. So now like okay, I have my list of things to ask.
Okay, let me ask you something. This is it's not off topic, but it's a little different than
we've been a little
okay, we're over the place. So what do you think? Because now I think it's good to ask you these questions since you're a guy, and I want to know if the girls are with me here. Do you think on a first date that it's a red flag if the guy does not pick the girl up from her house? At least if she wants him to. Some people don't want the guy to know where they live yet. If he does not offer to pick her up and comes to the door and knocks on the door, is that a red flag?
Is that a red flag? Not necessarily.
Oh, well, what's going on in your head on that? Like,
I just think that people's contexts are different, right? So what might be chivalry for one group of people might be not something that they've ever seen or do for another group of people. Like, for example, I open the car door for you as you get into the car. Right? I didn't always do that or know to do that. But I would definitely like for my daughter that her boyfriend or whatever would do that for her. But if he didn't do that initially without, being like, oh, it would be nice if you did this, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a red flag. He just might not know
Maybe
it's
it
something that
depends
he should be
also.
that he should be doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think also it might depend on because I'm 33 now, and I'm just imagining, say we weren't married, and I'm dating this guy, and he doesn't know to open the door for me. I'm like, all right, we're not 21 and 22 anymore, like where you're still learning these things. You're a grown adult. You should know these
But
things.
even then, like what I'm saying, even then we see some of our friends, right? Like I think I'm in the minority of people who open the door.
Maybe, I don't know. Well, I guess you know more guys than
Yeah,
I do.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. Okay.
I'll let you know, like, not everybody does that. But I'm not saying there's anything wrong with not doing it. But it's kind of being on the same page, right? So I wouldn't say it's a red flag for not doing chivalry in those exact specific ways.
Okay.
I do think it's one of those things that's very nice to do. But I think that kind of leads me with what the next thing I'm thinking about, honestly.
Okay, tell me.
I think number 4 would be someone that loves people well.
Okay.
And people not including yourself. They treat servers with kindness.
Mm-hmm.
They treat the people around them with kindness, like their mother, their father.
Mm-hmm.
Like they show honor to people. They're generally, kind and joyful people
Okay.
to others.
Yeah, I think that's good. It would definitely turn me off if I was on a date and the guy was like speaking rude to the waiter, or like she was trying to be nice and he was acting entitled or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
something else that would turn me off if, and this is for the girls to think about these things. Like if he had picked me up and then he had like road rage or something, and like her like go like cursing or like so rushing, I think that would really turn me off, because you also want to look for someone who has the fruits of the spirit. Like,
That's 100%.
yeah, kindness, gentleness, patience. Can't name them all right now. Self
The fruit of the spirit.
control, all those things. So I think that is actually a really good list to go out. I mean, physical attraction is not on there. So, have your other things, but I think those fruits of the spirit, look at that, and I think they should have fruit of all of those fruits.
Yeah.
It might not be perfect at all of them, but have some like, a little
To
bit of
you and to others, because it's so much easier to, like, when you like someone, to be on your best behavior, to that person. But as the more you go and you start to see how they treat other people around them, how they love others, how joyful they are, how
some girls like that though. Like, oh, my man only nice to me. Like, they love
that's
that.
terrible.
Yeah.
Why would you want that? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't really get that. But I think that's a big one.
Yeah. I think for me, a big one as a woman was to find someone who was able to be a leader.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because like you can be a believer, you can be good looking, you can be very kind, but you don't know how to lead. Because we're going to talk about this submission. If you are someone who wants to submit to a man, and I feel like if you're getting married, you need to be able to know that you need to submit. And we had a whole thing on submission before, that women don't like to submit, but because the people they're picking are not good leaders. And I have no problem submitting to you because I knew I had picked someone who was a great leader. That's something that I noticed about you early on, that like Jonathan was leading groups and he was like just doing a lot of leading. And I thought that was very attractive. So I think as a woman, you need to find someone who can lead and that you trust, because you are going to be under them. And I'm not saying that like because you're going to be the doormat or like the maid, but like you guys are going to be a team. You're going to work together. But they say like, oh, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck who turns the head. But like if you pick a head who's blind, and you just need someone who knows, who has vision and can lead, and like he doesn't have to have everything under control, because I know we talked about like sometimes the woman is the one who like does the budget and takes care of the finances because that's their strong suit, and that's okay. I just needed someone who I knew I could trust, that is going to lead our family. Because you got to think about your future kids. I say this all the time. Think about your future kids, someone that you would be proud to like have children with, and you can trust them to also raise your kids with you.
I think when we talk about submission, the verse starts with, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. So there's a mutual level of, give and take submission here.
Yeah.
But even though it gives the call for the woman to submit, just you can play the Christ role, it gives the man the call to love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. And what Christ did for the church is literally died. So the man's role, I believe, is as of a servant leader.
Yeah.
Not as a leader that demands, not as a leader that says, you get me this, as a boss, but as a servant.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
Right? So I think if you're a woman, you're looking for a man that wants to be a servant leader to you. And if you're a man, you want to look for a woman that's willing to love and respect you well.
Yeah.
As a man. So I think that's a big one as well.
I think for women should be, can he lead? But I think for a man, it's not necessarily, oh, can she follow or whatever, but is she so dominant that she's not going to allow me to lead? Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And that was really important for me because I think I'm a pretty dominant woman, especially like before I dated Jonathan. Like I was making money, I lived on my own. Like I didn't need anyone to come in and help me do anything, but I knew that Jonathan, I could trust him. And I thought that was just so important that I could trust him like with my life and that I could trust him with my like our household and our family. So I know there's a lot of dominant women out there who they hate the word submission and because it sounds ugly and it sounds like you're about to become sit down and shut up.
Like you're gonna be a handmaid's
yeah,
tale.
like I'm just here to like lay down on my back whenever you want, and like that I'm like stressing like that's not what it is. And I think that's why so many women are afraid of the word submission because it has been taken out of context and used to like abuse women over time. But you have to know your partner and believe that he is going to be a great leader that you want to submit to. If you can't see yourself submitting to that person, I don't think he may not be the right one for you. But if you can't see yourself submitting to anyone, I feel like you might not be ready to date yet.
That's good. That is good. I think the last thing that I can think about, and it's probably like the simplest one. It's like simple, but you wouldn't expect it. I feel like when we talk about our lists, right? It's like when a list is like, okay, she has to love God more than anything. She has to be like the picture perfect, like mother that's gonna be like just it was just so like cookie cutter kind of thing. But the most important thing, and someone gave me this advice, it's who do you want to spend the most amount of time with? That marriage, as much as it is romance, as much as it is doing life together, as much as it is any of these things, it is a friendship, partnership. That somebody can meet all the items of your list, but unless you're excited to hang out with and see them at the end of the day, it's going to be harder for you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's just me and you hanging out and enjoying time with one another. So Jess is, for me now, was the person who I most enjoyed spending my time with.
Stop.
It's true. Like it wasn't even close in terms of like who do I want to just be around? Who do I want that makes me laugh? We have fun. We have fun together. And I think fun is an underrated thing that a lot of people don't look for. But it's like, who can you have fun with? That's a big thing, I think, for me.
Yeah. So I feel like if it's like, oh man, so-and-so called, I gotta go. We have this date tonight, blah, blah. Like if it starts to look like that, I feel like it's like
out of duty rather than I just really want to be around you.
I can't wait to see them later. Yeah, instead of like, oh my gosh, he's calling me again, dog. Like, oh, I don't want to hang out. Like, then maybe I think it's something to look into. Like, maybe we should not be dating this person, or we really don't have that much fun together. But I think people get so caught up in like, oh, but like he has everything else, or like it's not that big of a deal. Like, yeah, I don't really want to hang out, but like when we do though, it's great or whatever. Like so many things it could be like, oh, everyone's saying I should date him, and it just looks good, or like we already went on 4 dates, and let's just keep trying. And then you end up in like this 3-year long relationship where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to get out of this. Yeah. We're not having fun.
I think you can like a lot of things about somebody and like even really admire them. Like really, wow, this person's fantastic. But still not want to spend that much time with. You know what I'm saying? That like, it's where you're like, that person, I think they're really cool. I think they're great. I think they're amazing. But there's just a certain level of, like when you're spending time together, it's like, oh, I could be doing this or I could be doing that. But when you find that, a person that you really just enjoy their time, you just want to hang out. And that's why I think a lot of people need to give their friends more of a chance.
Oh, because you're already hanging out and having a good time.
And you love hanging out with them and you think that time is so fun and it's a great time. But oftentimes I feel like women and men go for the person that it's like is a little more picture perfect, and they have a lot of good qualities, but they don't really have that great of a time together.
Yeah. When I tell you the vibe is important, bro. Yeah, if this person, important. Like, you can't see them gelling with your family or gelling with your friends or, like, even just gelling with you, bruh,
Just doing nothing.
Get it out of there. Get it out. Like, yeah, Jonathan and I, we can sit on the couch and just do nothing. And I'm like, oh, man, I love my life. This is nice. But if you're just like, oh, my gosh, like, what time is this going to be over, bro? I'm ready to get out of here, hang out with my friends. Then it's something to look into. But also, that person, say you're having a great time. Let me ask you if this would have been a red flag for you. Like, me and you were dating. We're 4 months in. And for us, it was a little bit easier because I knew your family before I even knew you. But say I didn't. We're dating. We're 4 months in. You like me. I'm a believer. You can see me trusting you to lead the family, all that stuff. I get around your family for the first time. Maybe by time number 3, because I can understand the first time you being a little nervous. By time number 3 or 4, I get over there and I just kind of sit in a corner, or like I'm not. Stop smiling, because
Continue.
What's
sorry.
funny?
Nothing's funny.
Oh, I sit in the corner, or I'm like, what time? Like, when are we leaving? Or like, I don't really want to be here. Or it just feels like I'm not gelling with your friends and family. Is that a deal breaker? She's perfect with you, or I'm perfect with you, but when I get around friends and family, it doesn't work. It doesn't match.
So I feel like for me, that's definitely a conversation. Like, what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's now looking, is she like this with everybody, or is it just with my friends and family?
Mm.
Like, does she come alive amongst her friends, her family?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it just like when we get in company, she's like this? I feel like that's a separate prong thing. It's like, do you not enjoy being with my family?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it like you just don't really relate with people well?
Right.
So I think that demarcation is important. But for me personally, since I'm such a family-oriented person, someone that could not hold their own in my family, to where I feel like I can walk away having a different conversation and I'm not worried about you.
You don't have to babysit.
I don't have to babysit you. That's very important. That was very important for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hold your own. Like, I don't want to necessarily need to sit next to you the entire time in order for you to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I'm really not that good with small talk. But your dad made it very easy because he's a small talk king.
Yeah, but even then, it's like you don't have to be this like a super extrovert to just engage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or like laugh at the jokes or something.
Yeah, because people are talking to you, so all you have to do is respond.
Right. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Those are just a few things.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's like so many more, but like, dang, I've been out of the game so long. I don't even know like.
Yeah, I feel like we don't need
to look for.
But honestly, like we were saying, I don't feel like we don't need an exhaustive list.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I don't think it should be like, oh, well, you missed this.
No.
Not everyone's gonna meet every single thing. I think 100%. You should have like maybe your top 3 things that are important. It's like non-negotiable, and there are some other things that maybe weren't the top 3 that you don't like, and it's like maybe this isn't gonna work. But I think you should be flexible.
Yeah,
I think it should be pretty flexible and give it a few times. Like I say, you go on a date and like you didn't like something. Unless it was like extreme, maybe if you like curse at the waiter or something, it's like, okay, I don't think I want to go out with you again. But maybe for me, like, oh, he didn't open the car door. I think it's okay to have conversations, because a lot of things that I asked you, you said it's worth a conversation. Because I'm asking, is this a deal breaker? You said it's a conversation. So I think some things need to be a conversation before the deal is broken.
Yeah,
instead of just like
everything can't be a deal breaker.
Right. We need to have more conversations. I feel like there would be like longer lasting relationships instead of just like, he didn't open the door for me, I'm not going back out with him.
Yeah, like shallow reasons for not.
Right. Because like it took when Jonathan and I don't even know, maybe even after we were married, I don't remember it. And still sometimes I have to remind, like, he didn't grow up or didn't even know that it was a thing to like, he walks on the outside when we're like walking on the sidewalk. And what if I had went on a date and he was like, I was on the outside of the sidewalk. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And he was on the inside, and I'm like, I can't believe he did not realize that he should be on the outside. So if a car comes, it hits him, even though it's going to hit both of you.
And
but
he
just didn't know. Like, there could have been so many things that I could have not so many things that I could have walked away from Jonathan for because he didn't know or he wasn't doing, but then we wouldn't have gotten here. And I feel like so many things are worth a conversation or just allowing people to grow. But I think conversations are probably an easier way to get there instead of saying, let me see if he gets it one day, because he just never know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Have conversations.
Have the convo.
All right, so let's see. I think we said 5 things in total.
Yeah, so.
Number 1, same belief system.
Yeah,
like,
same belief system.
Same level of like kinds of beliefs.
Belief, yeah. In the church, in the world.
Whatever.
Everything.
Like he had the same general life philosophy.
Yes. 2, attraction. And these aren't in any particular order. These are just how we brought them up.
Number 1's number 1.
One is the one. Everything else falls wherever you want to put them. But number 1 stays. 2, attraction, whether it be physical, personally, some type of attraction to the person that you're trying to be with. What was 3 again?
3 was that you want the same things out of life.
Yes, in terms of like we both want kids. in 5 years or whatever it is. It could be,
Like
you know,
similar
play
to-
with it,
yeah.
but it's not one wants kids and one doesn't, or like I want 1 kid, you want 5. Like, let's meet in the middle. Is that flexible? Is that negotiable? But it's not like deal breakers or black and white. There's got to be some wiggle room there. What was 4?
Do they love other? Do they love you and others well? Like,
Do they have the fruits of the
Fruits
spirit?
of the spirit.
Yes, fruits of the spirit. Again, these are not in order, but do they show some fruits of the spirit? Do they have good
which
fruits?
is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, and self-control.
Yeah, that's
So they need to have all. They
Yes.
need all these things. They start to have a lot of these qualities, not just towards you, but to everybody else as well.
yes.
And the last one.
And they don't have to be perfect at all of them, but they need to show some fruit of it.
Yeah.
And the last one,
It's just be able to have fun.
can you guys have fun together? Are you guys having fun together? Do
You
they
enjoy
have?
the time. You enjoy
Yes.
that time.
Yes. Can they mesh with your family and friends? I mean, that's after we can find out if they mesh with you. Don't be bringing someone around your family and friends and y'all not gelling, because it gets a little more stickier when your family loves them, but you don't. And they're like, oh, no, what? Just give her a chance and blah, blah, blah. Like, do y'all work out well? Are y'all having fun? Can we key? Or is it when we get together like, dang, we have nothing to talk about, but he is so fine and he loves the Lord, so
People,
figure it
I
out.
feel like a lot of times people reduce it to that. He loves the Lord. He has great relationships with his family, but like you guys don't really have anything in common.
yeah. That's
or
why I
wanna
said
hang
number
out.
1 is the most important, but it's not everything.
Yeah,
It's
not
not
everything.
everything.
It's not everything. It's true.
Yeah. So that's just some of our thoughts of things you should consider when looking to date.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Yes. Oh, I have this story. I was dating this guy, and this is a guy I've already mentioned before, but I was dating this guy, and I remember we were dating for like, or going on dates for like maybe 3 weeks or whatever, and then we had our first kiss, right? The next day, he was like, you know what? You would be so good for my friend. And I was like, hello? Like, what's happening here? He's like, yeah, I just really could see you two together. And I was just so confused. I'm like, brother, like, we've been kicking it. We've been going along, and like, you kissed me yesterday, and all of a sudden you're pawning me off to your friend. Now he was right, because then I did start talking to his friend. I'm like, oh, this is way better. But it just goes to show, like, you can find someone who's really great. I wouldn't say pawn them off to your friend, but they could be great, but just not great for you.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that you like. I think you're awesome. I think
Yeah.
you're awesome, but if you just don't
Yeah.
aren't gelling together, like that's okay.
It's okay. But tell them that before you kiss them. And maybe if you do kiss
That's
them.
smart. Yeah, tell
Yeah.
them that before you
Before
kiss
they
them.
kiss.
Before the kiss, for
You
sure.
know, and if you do kiss them and then you realize maybe they're not for you, I don't think it's bad to wait maybe an extra day or two. Like, don't, you know, like, I don't want to call it stringing along, but like the timing wasn't smooth.
Stinky armpits and
Oh my gosh, what's going on?
and good for my friend.
Thanks for staying with me. You really, you did that. Thank you.
Good for my friends and stinky armpits.
Good for, yeah. I'm clean now.
Yeah,
I'm a clean, anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. So that was all that.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you guys for watching another episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at BetweenTheWallsPod _. You know, we leave it on the screen every episode, but you can follow us on Instagram. We're going to get more active on there. And
Yeah. The season is coming to an end soon.
yes, you guys. This season, we usually do 10 episodes, but this time we're doing...
Usually, like we've done like a bunch
I know,
of
this is our
seasons.
second season. The thing for me would be, okay, 10 episodes per season, but Jonathan wanted to push it to 16.
I wanted to be consistent. Let's give them the people what they're asking
Yes,
for.
but it is a lot. So
It is a lot.
he wanted 16, but I think we're going to meet at 14.
Maybe we'll
This
see
is
what happens.
episode 13. I think we're going to have one more.
Hey guys,
And that's how you meet in the middle.
This is her trying to stop the good times from rolling. It's not me.
I just think we need to have space to always be
Get new
getting
ideas.
better. New ideas, get better quality. I think it's good to like take a little break, you reevaluate, because when you're always going, you don't have time to sit back and reevaluate. Okay, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in our next podcast.
See you next week.
Bye. You want to say bye, Jaquez?